So I think I did the eliminator. I think I got the parts from small car. There it says 3/8 inch 250 WP Flex LE. So what it says over here. Caution: do not stretch. Do not stretch. I don't have a part number for that. Anyway, I did add one of these magnifying filters, which is probably pointless, as people always point out, because it's not magnetic material, but that's fine. And then just mounted this guy under here. It's like that, like that, like that, like that. And it gets some airflow. Should be pretty good. Obviously, I put it at an angle like that. And it was really pretty easy. I'm 90% sure I didn't have to drop the engine. Now I got the spacer plate from Boston, but I'm pretty sure you can get around here from the back side and undo the bolts that way, because I did this really early when I got the van, and I don't think I dropped the engine until years later. So anyway, just want to show my setup. It's been fine. Alright, doing the transmission stuff. Anyway, for this, the guy goes in the side here. Just use a crescent wrench, and this is what it looks like. Get a new filter and set. Pretty sure it comes with the gasket too, but I did this not long ago. Basically, I think I introduced some crap. That's why I'm doing the filter again. But I'm not going to use I'm not going to replace the gasket, because they are usually all rolled up like this. So if you can take them out a couple days early and somehow set them out, it's fairly crinkled and stuff. Anyway, then this is a pretty easy job. Put the new gasket on there, put a little ATF around on the gasket seal, whatever you want to call it, so that it goes in smoothly in the little groove. Replace the filter and the screen. This nut, it says, there's two nuts it looks like. It says 27 on Vanagonauts.com, says 27 inch-pounds, which is about 2 foot-pounds, very, very small. It says 15 foot-pounds for these bolts, for the pan bolts, which sounds a little high. I thought it was less than that. Somebody on the Samba said they thought it was 7 foot-pounds. But anyway, I would go easy on it, and then if it leaks, you can, maybe tighten it up a little bit. And you do the cross pattern. This one, this one, this one, this one, or maybe, some kind of cross pattern in the order of tightening. And maybe do a couple rounds of tightening a little bit. Maybe to, a few foot-pounds, and then go around again in the same order, same cross pattern, star pattern, whatever you want to call it, order, to get the final torque down. That's always a good idea with gaskets like that. And that's about it. It's really pretty straightforward. When you put this guy back on here, I don't know, moderately tight. That's about how tight you get it. Some people said they use some kind of plumber's like Teflon tape on there. I usually don't, and it's usually fine. But yeah, that's how you drain it. I guess that's one thing to say. Yeah, you unscrew this thing, and then of course all the oil comes out. Well, a lot of the oil comes out. And then you might want to let it sit like that for a while, so that the rest of it can drain into the pan, right into this pan. Anyway, maybe drain it, and then after it all stops coming out, put the thing back on there and let it drain overnight or something like that. And if you want to work really clean, and once you start, there's always a little left in the pan. Once you start unscrewing those, it'll kind of start opening up and dripping. What you can do is hold it on there, and with your other hand unscrew all of them, and then in a controlled way kind of drop the pan down and put it into your little catch pan. And that's what I've been doing. It's worked well. So here's this thing that holds the screen. By the way, I use this stuff, it's pretty good. If you can, just measure however much you take out of it, and then put that much back in, and then take the reading, whatever, and top it off if needed. I just wanted to point this out. You can see there's discoloration, and it's actually tiny little bits of metal. So you want to clean that out. Come on, camera. There it goes. Yeah, you can see where I'm smudging it. It's not ideal, but I think that's probably pretty typical. And anyway, you want to clean all that stuff off, because I have to assume that it makes the fluid a little bit abrasive, because those are solids, even though they're extremely fine. And the other thing I was going to say, so here's my new filter and this little paper gasket. You usually want to get those a little bit wet before you stick them up underneath there. Whoops. Oh, well, whatever. So that they'll stick and make a nice little seal. There is a zoom. I was wondering why it was doing that. This should go without saying, but clean the pan up really well. And same with that thing. Not with chemicals, because that might break down your transmission fluid, but just with these blue rags. These blue rags are awesome. Any auto parts store and Home Depot has them for cheaper in the 3-pack. They're fantastic. Okay, hopefully just a couple final notes. I took the gasket off. Some guy said on the Samba, check your edges. If you're having a leak, make sure they're nice and straight. You might be able to knock them down. Maybe if somebody over tightened this thing, it might be bent down a little, you could knock it back. And to be clear, this might not be obvious if you're not reusing the gasket, but this gasket is keyed or sided, or however you want to say it. You'll see this side is more round and this side is more of a hard curve, so thing doesn't go on there like that. Flip it around, goes on there. Oh, come on. Real nice. Perfect. So I'm going to put a little ATF on that rim and on this guy too, to make sure it seats real nicely. And I think that was all I was going to say. So I just noticed something. When I put it on there, it kind of rocked back and forth, as if that little, in fact that little screen in there was sticking out a little bit, and the cover was kind of rocking back and forth, and so it's not going to get taut until I screw it up in there. I think that's by design, because obviously it's sucking in juice in here and then going up into the holes behind this cover, and so that filter is a little bit forward, so that when you screw it in, the filter, the screen, is forced on there and makes a nice seal. Because I think if it was recessed and didn't make the cover rock back and forth a little, that would be bad. That would mean it's not sealing. So I think that's normal, in case yours has that.